Greetings everyone. It's a little bit cold, and today it's Wednesday. Forgot what day it is. So what date it is? So it is Wednesday. Yeah. Today I just want to talk. I'm in a mood of talking, and yeah, I wanted to talk about something that I've discovered last week. Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, last week. On Friday, it was a moment of realization. It was a manifestation. That thing manifested itself, and I've discovered it as well. So, one thing that I saw is the beauty of being authentic, right? I'll tell a story with my experience. Growing up, I was a person who was always real and authentic, and I didn't care what anyone else had to say, and I was just me, and through that, me being myself, not caring about what people say or think, I wear what I want, I do what I want, I do what makes me happy, I discovered that I was surrounded by people who didn't appreciate that side of me, right? They would always make me feel bad, and to a point where that thing grew over the years, to a point where I shielded myself. I shielded that part of me who was like me right now, like me sitting like this and having this podcast. I wouldn't have done that if it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, because there's something that I was constantly working on. So that part, I was so scared of it, because I felt that I had to pretend to be someone who I'm not, so that I can make other people happy or try to accommodate other people's feelings, because I knew when I had to be myself and be confident, I'd make people feel a certain way. But through growth and realizing that people project how they feel about you, and sometimes it's what is this called? I want to find this word. It's how can I put this? As I grew, I realized that people project how they feel about you, and people are insecure. Yes, this is the word I was looking for. Insecure. People are insecure, right? You will shake people who are insecure if you are being real. If you are confident, you will shake a lot of people. You become a victim to people who are insecure. If you love yourself, you become a victim to people who don't love themselves. If you are an honest person, you become a victim to people who lie. If you are a hard worker, you become a victim to people who are lazy. So they'll try by all means to victimize you and make you feel like there's something wrong with you in all the aspects that I've mentioned. So that's what I've discovered, that actually I was victimized at that point, at that moment, as a teenager. And yeah, I fell for that. And it was an unconscious thing. Yeah, it was an unconscious thing, because it just happened, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this, because I know if I do this, this will happen. So already I was a victim in the situation. So, and even when I was still a victim to the situation, they still didn't like that, So that's another conversation, that you cannot please everyone. You cannot make people happy. Okay, that's a separate content I'll make on next time. So what I've discovered is that, and I met someone on Friday, this amazing girl, and when I met her, we were just having a conversation about school and just elements of life, because she's my age, right? So we view life the same, and we kind of have similar journeys somehow, and we're just sharing that moment of self-reflection, where we come from, where we are now, and where we are headed. It was just an amazing conversation that made me realize that actually I'm not alone in this thing. And while having the conversation, it was a really, really nice conversation. Like, we literally spoke at that moment, and then we clicked. and then we just decided to spend the day together. And then that was it. And then what I realized, because she is well spoken like me, and I love listening to people speak. So as much as I speak, I also enjoy listening to someone speak their mind and just sharing themselves, sharing a part of themselves, right? So one thing I've discovered with that is that she was so real. Like, one thing that stood out, it was the fact that she was so authentic. Like, she was real, she was speaking her mind. You can tell that this person is self-assured. Like, she doesn't even care if whatever she's saying makes you feel uncomfortable. She'll tell you that this is me, and this is how I take things, this is how I view life, this is this, and whether you like it or not, then that I don't care. And it literally inspired me. I was like, actually being authentic is the most beautiful thing ever. It's the most beautiful thing. When you are real, when you are yourself, the right people will love you for who you are. And that's where the beauty is. That's where the beauty lies. The beauty of you doesn't lie in you pretending to be someone else. You are hiding yourself. You are literally dimming your light, maybe. Or should I say, you are covering the flower that is supposed to bloom, right? You're covering the flower with a plastic and then putting another flower on top of the flower that you are, right? So maybe, for example, you are a rose, right? And then when you're a rose, you cover the rose with a plastic, and then you take the sunflower and put it in front of you like that and pretend you are the sunflower while you are not the sunflower. So this is also another conversation. Maybe we'll talk about that. People are different, right? Everyone is different in their own way, and everyone is beautiful in their own way, right? So a rose is beautiful in its own way, a sunflower is beautiful in its own way, right? So, and they're all beautiful, right? Unless if you view it in a point of competing. Once you start competing, and then you're gonna start analyzing the sunflower as, it's not red, it doesn't have whatever roots or whatever. So that's where a lot of comparison starts, envy, jealousy. Once you start comparing yourself with another person, you won't be confident in yourself. And if you are comparing yourself with someone else, and if you're insecure, that means that you are insecure. Basically, you're insecure. I don't know what to say. I'm deviating from the point, but what I want to say is that, like, being real is the most beautiful thing. And at that moment when I discovered that, when I had the conversation with this girl that I met, and we were having a conversation and spending time together, I was like, I'm gonna be so real. Like, I'm real, I don't fake. And I love that for me. I love this aspect of me, of being real. But it just made me realize from another person's perspective that you being real, you being authentic, you being yourself is actually the beauty of you, right? It's actually the beauty of you, not you faking or trying to be someone else. So that's what I wanted to say. So if anyone out there is afraid of being themselves, then please watch this podcast, and I hope you took some of the things that I said away, and I hope you realize that you being you, it's actually the real beauty. There's no other beauty than that. And it's just that, there won't be any other form of beauty that will come other than you being real with yourself. And you being real with yourself, it needs to start with you accepting yourself for who you are. Everything, including your personality, your character, your everything about you, everything that makes you you need to start accepting it. And then as soon as you accept it, I think that's where the the work starts, right? By accepting and then reflecting, and then once you start accepting, I think that's the most important step. Accepting, and then once you start accepting, acknowledge, and then just, yeah, do you, be you. If you're loud, be loud. If you're a quiet person, be quiet, be you, and don't feel the pressure to be another person, and don't look at another person with an eye of, she's doing better, he's doing better, because if you're going to do that, you're going to have a problem, right? You're going to have a problem. So yeah, I think this podcast is now 10 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, do I need to add something? No, I don't. Yeah, I think I said what I wanted to say, and I hope I made sense. I'm getting better at this, yes. Okay, I know that I know how to articulate myself, but obviously I wanna be able to articulate myself to that point of But yeah, I'm getting better at this. Each time I shoot a podcast, it makes me excited, it makes me happy, and I'm literally enjoying this, and I want to do this for the rest of my life. I will do this for the rest of my life, and yeah, I know 5 years from now I'll reflect on this moment, and I'm gonna be like, thank you for being you, thank you for starting this podcast, and yeah, bye.